Perona is attacking Blackbeard, and you're not gonna guess which crew she just took over. And don't worry, this is a safe video for anime-only viewers. Today we're talking about 5 wild One Piece theories, supported by facts. Now without further ado, let me slap anime take you through these wild theories. Let's start with Perona. Where did we last see her? She was at the castle with Dracula Mihawk, and obviously it was the end of the Shishibukai, and she also found out that Gecko Moria was alive. So she parted ways with Mihawk and decided to start going after him. But one big problem that Perona is gonna have to face is that Mihawk's castle was in Paradise, the first half of the Grand Line. So how is she gonna get to the New World towards Blackbeard's base? And it's important to note that we're talking about Perona, an established character from a past arc. And what does Oda like to do with characters from past arcs? He loves to team them up, whether that's in cover stories or in arcs like Impel Down. So not only do I think this is another great way to get Perona back into the story, but also a few other characters that may have been forgotten at this point. So, which pirates of the Grand Line could actually team up? Let's go through the list of all the pirates that the Straw Hats encountered. First up, you got Baroque Works. You know Crocodile and them are already in the New World. Then we moved on to Jaya and found out about the Bellamy pirates. But Bellamy, last we saw, is in Dressrosa. Then we went to Skypiea, no pirates, Enel doesn't count. And after that, we go to Water 7, Eni's Lobby, and again, no pirates there. And next we go to Thriller Bark, and obviously their crew split apart, that's why Perona needs to get to the New World. But after that, we actually end up in Sabaody, where the only pirate crews we meet are the Supernovas, who are all confirmed to be in the New World as well. And after all the Straw Hats get split up, the only other notable pirate crew that we meet is the Kuja Pirates. But we already know they're getting attacked by some of the Marines, since they decided to disband the 7 Warlord system. So who does that leave? None other than your favorite pirate, Foxy. So it actually wouldn't surprise me if Perona was just minding her own business, trying to figure out how to get to the next place, and then Foxy decides to challenge her. And with Perona's busted power, she's gonna have zero problem destroying them all. So I think that's the perfect duo and the perfect ship that Perona could take over to go to Sabaody, get their ship coded, and get to the New World. And that's when Perona's gonna decide to attack Blackbeard, not only to rescue Moria, but after she finds out what happens to Absalom as well, she is gonna go after them no diff. Now, obviously I don't think Perona's gonna win, but I think she might actually succeed in her mission and bring out Gecko Moria and maybe Absalom. That's another theory we'll get into a little bit. But again, I don't think she's gonna win. I'm pretty sure she's gonna sacrifice the Foxy Pirates to Blackbeard. Plus, another beautiful narrative that would make great thematic sense would be for the crew that introduces us to the pirate games, the Davy Back fights, actually go to the island where the Davy Back fights first started, which is the pirate paradise that Blackbeard set up his base in. And we still have no idea how Blackbeard actually is taking the fruits from other users. Does he actually have to kill them, or is there another way? And I think an established character like Foxy is perfect, being the vessel for the audience to actually see that process happen. At some point, we are gonna have to see it, and why not soon after the events of Wano? And another point is that One Piece is also a comedy, so it would be hilarious to see Perona and Foxy together. So if we don't actually see this happen in the main story, I mean, come on, this is a perfect idea for a cover story. And another great idea for a cover story is what happens when Perona actually saves Absalom, which leads into our second wild theory. Is Absalom really dead? Again, the Blackbeard pirates said they did kill him and they did steal his fruit. We don't know if they actually have to kill in order to get the fruit or not. One piece of evidence we have is Whitebeard, but one data point isn't enough to confirm a pattern. So I think it's very possible that they have Absalom locked up somewhere in Paradise Island. And it's also important to note that Absalom's body was enhanced by Dr. Hogback, specifically to have a lot more endurance. So is it possible to cut out his devil fruit without actually killing him? You know Oda, if it doesn't happen on screen, then it doesn't happen. And even when it does, hell. Which leads into our next theory about Caterina Devon's power, the mythical Zoan fruit, the 9-tailed fox, which gives her the ability to transform, or does it? Now, this wouldn't be the first time we actually have replicated devil fruit powers. You know, obviously we have the Kilo fruit and the Ton fruit, both which allow you to change how much you weigh. So would it be so far-fetched to say that Mr. Two's fruit, his ability to change, and the 9-tailed mythical Zoan fruit also gives her the power to change, and they're just both the same power. But in Japanese mythology, although 9-tails are associated with shapeshifting, another thing and another way that Oda could actually take this, remember One Piece is primarily a Japanese story, so they could borrow from other parts of the lore, is that 9-tails also are able to manipulate what's inside people's minds, basically creating illusions within a person's mind. So you could kind of say that she kind of has like a genjutsu. And if that's the case, what if they don't have Absalom? What if Caterina Devon just created a great genjutsu or illusion in Moria's head that made him see Shiryu being invisible, and that also also made her appear like Absalom himself in order to ruse him to become the 10th Titanic Captain. Because obviously, just like Foxy, Morio's fruit is also at the top of the list as a great devil fruit. And sticking on the topic of Blackbeard's crew, I wanted to talk about the 10th Titanic Captain. Or should I say the 11th Titanic Captain. Now, if you didn't know, Titanic is actually a word that comes from Greek mythology. Its root is actually Titan, as in the gods that ruled before the Greek Olympians came into power. And there are actually plenty of Titans, but there were only an original 12, the Elder Titans. And I believe Blackbeard's crew is going to resemble the 12 Elder Titans. But it's not just because the word Titanic comes from Titan or because there were 12 Elder Titans. I actually went in deep and looked at the lore of each of the 12 Elder Titans, and you're really not going to believe what I figured out. How, for example, the 5 primary Titans, the primary thing being how the Titan that represents Blackbeard got help from his 4 original brothers, the 4 pillars, to hold down his father so that Titan could actually kill his father, take his power, and take his territory. Does that sound familiar? Just like the 4 pillars in Blackbeard's crew, Jesus Burgess, Van Auger, Lafayette, and Dot Q each helped Blackbeard take down his own father, take his power, and take his territory. And it's not just a story that makes sense, it's the actual individual Titans that align with each person in the crew that give this theory such validity. And I could keep going on and on and on, and even connect the dots on Titans that make sense for each of the other crew members that Blackbeard recruited, and as well as giving it evidence for the 11th Titanic Captain. And when you add Blackbeard, that makes a total of 12, the 12 Elder Titans. So let me know down in the comments if that's something you guys actually want to see more about. And if all that happens to be true, the crew that mirrors the Straw Hats the most are the Blackbeard Pirates. And if they have 12 members, including their captain, that means the Straw Hats are going to have 12 members, including Luffy. But looping back to this whole Greek mythology thing, I wanted to talk about Pluton, Poseidon, and Uranus. Now, I follow a lot of One Piece content creators myself. There's a lot of great people out there. But one thing that I keep hearing that is wrong, they keep calling Pluton Hades, the king of the underworld. But that's just simply incorrect. What Pluton actually is a helmet that is given to Hades. When it comes to Poseidon, it's actually an Olympian god. Uranus is actually the sky itself. So when you break it down, there are really 3 different kind of things going on there, right? Poseidon, a person, a Zoan. Pluton, an item, a paramecia. Uranus, the sky, an element, a logia. So I actually find it very interesting that all 3 of these ancient weapons fit into those categories pretty snug. And with the reveal of Shirahoshi as being a person with a power, kind of like Zoan would have, and obviously Frankie having the blueprints of a battleship that could be built, that leads me to believe that Uranus is not a person like Shirahoshi and is not a super weapon built like Pluton. It is a natural element or a force that exists into the world, because in some interpretations in Greek mythology, Uranus is actually the sky where the Olympian gods live, up in the mountains in Mount Olympus. That could actually be Mari Joie, and that's why they sit up there, and that's why the world government is in such power all over the world. So those were 5 wild One Piece theories.